Now, a special edition of the Big Trail Show. This is Lance Harter's legacy.
If you ask Lance Harter to describe what coaching track and field has been like for the last 6 decades, he will tell you this. It's like a big puzzle. Each athlete, every event, a piece of that puzzle. As a coach, you have to put it all together to see the big picture. Coach Harter's puzzles at Arkansas, leading to over 600 All-Americans, 45 SEC titles, 7 national championships, 7 SEC Triple Crowns, and 1 national Triple Crown. That's Lance Harter's legacy.
First women's title ever at home in front of this crowd.
Like I say, I guess legacy is just winning. You know, I think there's a little bit more to it, but you don't get a legacy for losing.
Legacy, legendary.
He has brought greatness to that program. I mean, they're on top of the world. I mean, every year they're winning SEC's top contenders for the national championship. So he's just changed Arkansas track and field for the better.
He's somewhat of a fatherly and or grandfatherly figure, you know, with his silver hair and everything, and he makes you feel very comfortable, makes us feel like it's home and it's a place that you want to come to be a student athlete.
He's built it to what it is today, and I'm sure it's going to continue to go on. He's kind of set the standard.
Going year to year, day to day, and in the grind. Sometimes you don't stop to, realize maybe what he's accomplished, and this has just been kind of a good time to really realize, wow, it's been quite a career.
In order to appreciate the ending, we have to go back to where it all began.
Within the track world, there was such respect for Lance, for what he was accomplishing at Cal Poly. He had won 14 national titles there, and he was recruiting away kids that the Division I schools wanted. So I said, this guy knows what he's doing.
I'd already turned down USC, UCLA, turned down some other schools on the phone, interviewed at Cal Berkeley, and eliminated myself very quickly. And then there were some others.
When I was offered the women's athletic director job, I said, okay, but I need to find a great track coach, and he was the first name that popped in my mind.
I was wearing Arkansas gear at the California State meet, recruiting my tail off, and I still hadn't had a contract. So I was like, I hope this thing comes together.
And the funniest part is he'll tell you I hired him to coach in the Southwest Conference, and then he'll say, and I don't know if this is exactly true, but he'll say, the day I got here, you told me put on a tie. We're going to a press conference to join the SEC.
I brought 3 pillars, so to speak. 1, we were always going to do it the right way. Number 2, we were always going to have a good work ethic. And 3rd, always try to make sure the individual is the focus.
He's regal, if you will. He's never had a bad day. He's always excited. He's always happy, and he always has a solution.
He's true. He's true to himself. He's true to everybody else. He doesn't try to hide anything. What you see is what you're going to get from him.
You know how you used to talk to your grandparents and they just kind of had like this nice, genuine, soothing voice. So that was kind of like Coach Harter. He just kind of, the way he would just talk to you, and you just really felt the passion in his voice that he really did care about you as a person. Not just as an athlete, but also as a person.
I think anybody in their coaching career, if they could work for somebody, it would be someone like Lance or Lance himself. He's always told me to be who you are, but there's always things that you can do better. And I think that's what I've taken most from Coach in terms, and I think that's just great leadership.
There's one I would put with him, John McDonald. He's gone home to be with the Lord. And then it's him. And then it's him.
Whatever got into you today, don't let it go.
Yeah, we do that.
That was brilliant. Hey, whatever you did today, don't change it.
Now back to Lance Harter's legacy, a special edition of the Pig Trail Show.
How are you today?
Good. A little tired, but good.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we put you out on the loops, but just keep them under control, is that
Sounds
fair?
Good.
Twofold, track and field was a piece of the pie in their life. They could explore it as big as they want or keep it as minimal as they want. Okay, ladies, just a piece of advice on these 300s. Let's try to be controlled on the first couple because it's easy to get excited and then all of a sudden you're at number 7 or 8 and you look like the track's tilted uphill. Some of the successes that they've had maybe never even occurred on the track, but they were unbelievably successful as doctors, lawyers, business people, New York Stock Exchange. I mean, it's fascinating, the success. We all good? We've got a rabbit to take care of it. I think she got that on film.
Oh God, I thought she was facing the other way.
You know, we thought you were such a ladylike person. What's very interesting, when I met with them one-on-one, they would always say, track and field made me a success. I learned more in the sport than I did sitting down and reading theory. 48, 49. They said, because I learned when I did fail, I could get back up. And when I was successful, I was humble enough to know I could fail tomorrow. I think it was something you said. You know, they just went, man, we're not waiting for her. Try to be as efficient and conserve energy. Lock into the pace, conserve energy. That's what track and field does. You don't win all the time. It just does not happen. There's always somebody out there waiting for you. That away, hold on to it, hold on to it, hold on to it. The idea is watching kids evolve to that level is just so fun. Whatever got into you today, don't let it go.
Yeah, I knew that.
That was brilliant. Hey, whatever you did today, don't change it. That was beautiful. That away, very nice.
50.
Yeah.
Like everything.
I mean, that was very, very good, Carmi. Those types of confidences that are exchanged between coach and athlete is really, really special. It's like your daughter coming up to you and saying, or your son, Mom, you're the best. You know, you can't help but kind of banny up a little bit. So, yeah, it's been a great ride. This is how I get my steps in.
Grandpa Lance comes out every once in a while and you like forget it because you're at a workout and he's coach mode. He'll show up to the track in flip-flops sometimes and it's like casual California Lance comes out.
Now back to Lance Harter's legacy, a special edition of the Pig Trail Show.
Everyone has their own way to describe Lance. If you had a phrase, a few words, maybe even one word to describe him, what would you choose and why?
Caring. He's just unbelievably caring. I think he knows when to give you space, but just because he's giving you space, it doesn't mean that he's not still caring and thinking about you and wanting nothing but the best for you. And even anyone that's I've seen come through here and move on and keep on their running career, he's catching up with them, keeping up with how they're doing. It never ends. Like you graduate and you're still his kid or his grandkid. Grandpa Lance comes out every once in a while and you like forget it because you're at a workout and he's coach mode. But then even just yesterday we were sitting out on the track and I hadn't hung out with him in a while and it was just nice to just sit and hang out. And I don't know, he'll show up to the track in flip-flops sometimes and it's like casual California Lance comes out. I just remember we had a conversation, I don't know how it got brought up, but he was saying that he genuinely never feels like he's working. Like it doesn't ever feel like a job. And it hit me that I've never seen him treat this like a job. Like it doesn't seem like showing up for practice never takes from him. And even sometimes we're like, Coach, you don't really even need to be here. Like it's a recovery run, you're gonna see us for 2 minutes and then you're just gonna drive behind us. But he's there every time. And if I ever needed him to be anywhere with me for a workout or for just a walk or anything, he would be there in 2 seconds.
Ellen Omomoy finishing second, Tori Herman third, 9:09.90.
It does make me feel special to have had been part of the journey because he makes you feel seen. Like he makes you feel like you were such an integral part in his career, even though you see how many other NCAA All-Americans or champions that he's coached. It's crazy to think that I'm a part of that journey, even though I'm sure to him it's just such a small blip, but to me it was such a big part of my life.
I heard this was happening. I told my husband, I need to get on a plane and get back to Arkansas.
And I asked my wife, I said, what do you say to a man who has done it all, who has been more successful than in my mind, any other track coach in America? What do you say?
Now back to Lance Harter's legacy, a special edition
Going to get started.
Pig Trail Show.
Going to get started here in about a minute, so please come towards the entrance and we'll get started in just 1 minute. As you would expect for a night like this, we are joined by many special guests. I will introduce them as we go out through the evening.
Lance Harter guided the fortunes of the women's track and field program to a treasure trove of conference team titles as well as national prominence over a 33-year span as head coach. Harter led the Razorbacks to 5 consecutive championships, starting with that 1991 season.
When I heard this was happening, I told my husband, I need to get on a plane and get back to Arkansas.
And I asked my wife, I said, what do you say to a man who has done it all, who has been more successful than in my mind, any other track coach in America? What do you say?
We just want to say thank you. Thank you for investing in each and every one of us. You helped mold us into the individuals we are today. We have many successful stories, many successful people that have gone on to lead huge careers. They say a truly good coach makes us successful athletes, on and off the playing field. Your career exemplifies the kind of success.
You know, it's great to see, as you can see, the number of student athletes that came back because of how Lance touched their lives. And I can tell you there's probably at least 8 or 9 of my athletes here who came back because they wanted to celebrate Lance. And they're great, the pride in the program that he gave them, even though some of them didn't run for him.
That I hope I had something to say about him that would be a blessing to him as much as he's been to me. Lance, I love you. They say men shouldn't say it, but I love you, man. I am where I am today. My family is blessed to be where we are today because of you. I met Lance at a track meet here at Missouri, at Arkansas. I was at Southwest Missouri, which is now Missouri State, as an assistant. And we just bumped, he just gotten the job here. And he was, we just talked. We just talked, small talk. And a year later, I'm at Iowa State at a track meet. I had then left Missouri State to go to work for the University of Minnesota. And he said, man, I was looking for you. Man, what's up? I wanted to hire you. And I was like, really? I said, man, it would be an honor to work for you. I didn't think the guy had paid that much attention to me in the body of my work. A year later, the position came over and he called me. And he said, but I know you just got to Minnesota. I said, man, I'm listening. Talk to me. And it was a 16-year run with him, until I took my own program at Purdue and then went to Kentucky. I remember one time in 1999, my group just didn't get it done. And and I thought he was going to fire me. I really did. I thought he was going to be like, I got to go in a different direction. And he came to my room, and I'm looking at my recruiting list trying to figure who I got to go call. And he said, what are you doing? And he had this look on his face like, what are you doing, man? I said, well, I was looking at the recruits. He started laughing. He said, your job is safe with me, man. Just spin it up. Do the job. That's all I ask you to do. Do the job. To the point that when I left him. That when God promoted me up out of here to my own program, we went to lunch at a little Italian restaurant right off campus. And when we parted that day, me and my family were leaving that day, he hugged me hard and said, work hard. If you work hard, you can be successful anywhere. If I can do what they have done, what Lance has done, when they talk about the end of my book, the end of my story, like we're doing tonight to celebrate him, I think I would have done well. I would have done well. I would have made people proud of me, my children proud. I would have made my mother proud. But more importantly, for someone like him who done what he's done for me, man, I want to make him proud.
He's going to pass the baton off to Chris Johnson, his longtime associate head coach. And Chris Johnson's got some really big shoes to fill, but I think he's the right person to do that because he's learned from Lance and watched Lance work over the past 10 years.
Now back to Lance Harter's legacy, a special edition of the Pig Trail Show.
When you hit 70, it just has a tendency, a lot of my peers reminding me all the time that I was 70. And Hunter and I, sat down and chatted about it, and July 2023 sounded like the right date. Plus, then I'd be able to enjoy July 4th. When Lonnie had the offer to go to Purdue, I counseled him and said, who's our choice? And he goes, there's only one choice. It's Chris Johnson. So I went to Jeff Long and said, Lonnie's leaving. He's got the directorship at Purdue University, and he'll do a great job. And I have a person on my short list. And he goes, I asked 2 questions. I said, what's that? And he goes, will this individual coming in, will he guarantee me national championships? I said, yes. And he said, will he be expensive? And I said, yes.
He's going to pass the baton off to Chris Johnson, his longtime associate head coach, and the cupboard's not bare when Chris takes over. I mean, we are poised to remain at the top of the Southeastern Conference, not only in indoor and outdoor track and field, but also in cross country and nationally, because that's the program he's built.
So I'm looking at you, right?
Looking at me, yeah.
Fantastic.
My husband been behind the scenes really just producing national champions and producing world record holders, producing American record holders, world leads, Bowerman finalists. I mean, the list goes on. So I think he's done so much as an assistant coach. I think nothing's really going to change besides him having head coach next to his name and hopefully maybe taking it to another level.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, we're growing up a little bit. You understand? Good job. Way to rebound. Now, what's the difference? Focus. I think it has been seamless. We've never had any disagreements in terms of how we should do this and how we should do that. And I think that's because he has a great respect for me and I have a great respect for him. And we've worked together for a long time, and it's nothing but respect between each other. And obviously he wants this program to continue to be successful, and we want to be able to uphold that legacy that he's set. It's a dream job. It's at the University of Arkansas. With the great history of track and field, there's nothing better than that.
We've got this 10 acres out here in Goshen, and I think when there may become times when I say, I think you need to go to the farm. So.
I can bring the grandkids out and they explore and see things that they want to be a part of, or our children. The pond is full of fish. I have yet to really spend any time fishing my own pond. I think each one of our catfish have been named, so it's a very personal event here. It's kind of a little bit of a sanctuary.
I think there's always more to do here, and I think if we would like to get some animals, and that becomes a problem if if you're going to be traveling a lot. But it's just a place where Lance could come out here and get on his tractor or the mower, and we may plant some things. So there's always going to be more to do out here. It'll be an adjustment for him, obviously, but I know there's lots of things we want to do together, and we want to spend more time with the grandkids, and so I think it'll be great.
In all sincerity, we want to make sure while we have our health, we explore the avenues that we want to, be part of. We have good friends that cycle all through Europe, and they have challenged us to come to Austria and Germany and join them for a week of just cycling and stopping each night at a different town and so on. And it's kind of exciting, it's athletic to some degree, but we get to see part of the world that will be new to us or novel to us, and it won't involve track. Things like that maybe are on the bucket list, and so we need to start working on our bucket list.